Step away from those kids and put your hands where I can see them. The words sliced through the cool November air like a blade, and for a second, the entire football field froze. Coach Marcus Hale stood there, clipboard in one hand, whistle dangling from his neck, surrounded by 28 sweaty, grinning teenagers who had just finished the kind of practice you feel in your bones. He wasn't holding anything more dangerous than a Sharpie, but the man barking orders at him had one hand resting on his gun. This wasn't my first time seeing a black man stopped by the police, but it was the first time I saw it happen to someone like Coach Hale right in the middle of what was basically his sanctuary. That afternoon had been perfect football, weather-low sun casting long shadows, the smell of turf and autumn leaves in the air. Marcus had been on fire calling out drills, praising kids by name, reminding them the state finals were only 3 weeks away. He had a way of making every huddle feel like a family meeting. He'd tell them football was just the excuse, what he was really teaching was life. Then the patrol car came tearing into the school lot like it was chasing a fugitive. Red and blue lights bouncing off the bleachers, engine revving way too loud for a place filled with kids. Out stepped Officer Brent Calhoun, tall, square-jawed, the kind of guy who looked like he thought his uniform gave him the right to size up a person in a single glance and decide who they were. "Step away from those kids," he repeated, moving closer. Coach didn't flinch. He just looked at his boys and said, "Gentlemen, stay calm. This is how we handle pressure." His voice was steady, like he was narrating a game film. Calhoun kept walking, eyes scanning the field like he was searching for a threat only he could see. To him, I guess the threat was obvious, a black man in charge of a bunch of black and Latino teens. Never mind that this was the school's head coach, a decorated Army vet, a man who turned a losing program into a championship contender. "I got a call about a suspicious male intimidating children." Calhoun said, his voice sharp enough to cut glass. Marcus blinked, almost like he'd misheard. "You're looking at the Roosevelt High football team. We just finished practice. I don't care what you call it." Calhoun shot back, "Hands where I can see them. Now." Phones were already out in the parking lot. Parents who'd come early to pick up their kids had their cameras rolling, people like Nina Lopez, a city councilwoman who'd fought to hire Marcus 8 years ago, and Alex James, a federal prosecutor whose own son played on the team. I saw Alex lean forward over her steering wheel, eyes narrowed, phone aimed dead at the officer. Calhoun moved in and without another word yanked Marcus's hands behind his back and snapped the cuffs on. You could hear the metal click from halfway across the field. The kids froze. I swear I could feel the air go heavy. Jamal, the team captain, started toward them, fists clenched, but Marcus caught his eye and gave the smallest shake of his head. "Not now," it said. "Sir, I'm the head coach here," Marcus tried again, still calm, still respectful. "These are my players. We're on school property." "Save it for downtown," Calhoun said, cinching the cuffs tighter. That's when I realized this wasn't about figuring out what was happening. This was about making a scene, about putting Marcus on display like some kind of warning. Calhoun emptied his pockets right there on the 50-yard line, holding up each item like it was evidence wallet. Keys, phone. Then he pulled out Marcus's notebook, his coaching Bible, full of scribbled quotes and notes about each kid's progress, and flipped it open. "What's this, gang codes?" "They're notes about my players," Marcus said, jaw tight. "Their goals, their grades." Calhoun read aloud, "Eli leadership isn't being the loudest, it's being the most consistent." "Yeah, sounds like gang leadership training to me." A ripple of disbelief ran through the kids. Eli, a junior linebacker, took a step forward. "That's my note. He wrote that for me after my dad left." "Step back before you join him in the patrol car," Calhoun barked. That was the moment something shifted. One by one, the boys started speaking up. Jamal's voice came first, steady but shaking underneath. "Coach Hale kept me from dropping out. He made me believe I could play in college. He's the reason I'm still here." Marcus didn't turn around, but I saw his shoulders lift just a little. Then came Isaiah. Coach bought me cleats when my mom couldn't afford them. Told me to just pay it forward someday. Antonio chimed in. He learned Spanish so he could talk to my parents about my grades. It was like the floodgates opened. Each kid had a story. How Marcus drove them home when they had no ride paid for team dinners, sat in hospital rooms when they got hurt. How he made them volunteer at the food bank, read to little kids, help seniors with yard work. Because he said football teaches you to be strong, but service teaches you to be good. Calhoun was getting rattled now. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Look how they're all rallying around him. This is cult-like behavior. Jamal stepped forward, eyes locked on him. No, sir. This is family. When someone attacks your father, you defend him. When someone lies about your mentor, you tell the truth. It landed like a punch. By then, parents were out of their cars filming from every angle. Alex James was narrating every violation of protocol into her phone. Nina Lopez was already on the phone with the mayor's office. And in the middle of it all, Marcus just stood there, shoulders square, head high. Character he called out to his boys is what you do when everything's against you. They didn't move. Not one of them left that field. Calhoun tried to order them to disperse, threatening to arrest more kids, but the words bounced off. Jamal spoke for all of them. We're not going anywhere. This is our field, our coach. You want to take him? We'll be right here when you bring him back. The sun was dipping low by then, throwing long shadows over a scene I'll never forget. One man in handcuffs, 28 kids standing like a wall behind him, and a parking lot full of witnesses who were done being quiet. It's funny. Calhoun probably thought this would be just another report, another routine stop that nobody would question. What he didn't know was that he'd just been documented from 6 different angles by people with the power of the platform and the determination to make sure the truth wouldn't die in some dusty file. The next steps, that's a story for another day. But I'll tell you this, those kids learned more about courage, loyalty, and the cost of dignity in those 20 minutes than in any championship game. So here's my question for you. If you'd been standing on that field phone in hand, would you have hit record or would you have stepped in? And more importantly, what does justice look like when the whole world can see the truth?